Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing around with some of Dina Wakley's new releases from August and painting with our gloss acrylic inks. So I'm starting off on a cotton rag page which does have gesso on it, and I'm dropping on the acrylic inks and just using lots of water to move them around on the page. This is one of my favourite ways to do backgrounds at the moment because you just get this beautiful sort of watercolour ink background, and the best bit about it is that it's permanent when it dries, so you get this gorgeous colour that's is not going to shift, which I really love. As I sort of get layers that I really like, I like to heat set it because I'm not patient. So if you're patient and can leave it to sit for one side and come back to it, that's wonderful. I'm not you. But you can see I can again go over the top and spread the ink. So by heat setting the first layer, it means I'm not going to get mud by dropping the pink over the top. I am going to get beautiful tones of purple through it though, because the pink goes over the blue, and because it's semi-translucent, you'll get those gorgeous shades coming through. So it's a really easy way to make a really fun background. Once I'd finished, I'm now going in with one of the new coastal stamps. This is called Scales, funnily enough. And just with a little bit of white, just to control the madness on the page, the colour on the page, and put a little bit of white back on it. I have left the corners a little bit white, but I could probably do with a little bit more on it. I actually really liked the background as is, and was sort of thinking, what do I do with this? So I decided to go for an old favourite, which was to do a little bit of splatter over the top, and then I thought about putting a face on the page. So I decided to use one of Dina's older stamps from a set called Say Yes, and stamp it out onto some tissue paper, which took me a little while to find in my stash. I've got everything sitting next to me, but yeah, I just couldn't quite put my hands on where I thought it was. So first I had to find the stamp, and then you can see me looking for my tissue paper. So this is really quite a big stamp, very detailed. The reason I'm not stamping it straight onto the page is because I'm working in the black journal, which has got the thinner cotton rag paper, which isn't brilliant for stamping straight on. But if you stamp it onto some tissue paper and glue it on, you get a really good impression, which is really handy. I didn't need a perfect impression because I knew I was going to paint over the top of it. But I wanted to at least be able to see the lines and so on. So I'm going in now with my gel medium and sticking my image on. I have put on shoulders on her, even though it sort of blends into the page, you can't really see it. So she's sort of going to sit out. Now I could have left her black and white, and probably in hindsight looking at it, probably should, but it's me. Why would I do that when I've got new paints to play with? So I went in with the eyes like I usually do, painted those white, put the catch-alls in the eyes, and I'm using the gloss inks to actually paint in, so putting the lip colour on and that cheek colour. I also decided I put in a little bit of eye makeup. Don't know if anyone watched the Drew Carey show, but she reminded me of Mimi when I put the purple eyeshadow. So once I did that, I was trying to look for, I wanted to have a sort of skinny toned colour. I probably went a bit too far by adding some of the raspberry in. So I mixed a little bit of sand, a little bit of the Tangelo, and then a little bit of the raspberry to sort of get this skin tone, and just painted it over the entire image, including over the black lines of the stamped image, because the paint, as I said before, is translucent. So you can see through it really easily. I had this idea that I was going to paint in the hair, but hair is my weakness. There's a lot of things actually that is my weakness, but hair is a big one, both in life and in painting. So I struggled a little bit with this by adding lots and lots of layers on. So I started with my base colour, which is the malachite. Then I put in some of the iris. And then once I dried that off, it's like, oh, it's not quite right. I've lost some of the colour, so I'm going in and giving her a turquoise eye. Then I'm going to put in some more of the malachite again. Oh, and now I'm going to try another colour as well, because why not? So I put in some of the raspberry because she's got raspberry highlights. Then I tried that off. I was like, not sure about this. So I'm putting in some of the purple again. It's all fun and games. You do you. If you can do, if you can do hair, do a better job than me, because yeah, that's a bit interesting, that one. Anyway, when I had my hair kind of worked out, I went in with my black Stabilo oil pencil, put a little bit more darkness into her hair, which did help somewhat, and also put her shoulders back in again, which helped balance it up. I mean, we didn't have a floating head on the page. Then I'm putting in a little bit of white for some highlights into her hair as well, again using a white Stabilo. Once I'd done that, I was like, okay, I've got this woman looking at me, what do I want to do? And funnily enough, I remember what stamp set she came from, and it has this gorgeous Say Yes stamp. So I thought I'd stamp that in the background. Got the Dylusions archival ink and pink, and just sort of stamped it all over in the background, and then across her body as well. So I hopped on to, no I didn't, I used Dina's Transparency. One of the first quotes she has on her new transparencies is, make yes your favourite word, which I really, really liked. So that's what my page is going to be. Seeing we've got yes in the background and so on, I thought that would be a really good idea. So I'm using my favourite chrome pen from Life of Colour. You can get chrome pens from anywhere. They're fun to do lettering with. So once I've written out my words, then I'm going back in and going over the top just to make them a little thicker. So one of my favourite things about using markers on my acrylic papers, whether it's with the inks or with the paints, because if you make a mistake, you can wipe it away with your wet wipe, which I find really, really handy and not quite as scary to go in with a paint pen, which is a good thing. So once I've thickened up all my letters, I'm going to go in and give the words a shadow. Now, because I am very good at putting my hands everywhere, I did go in and dry it off a little bit. I'm using a warm grey alcohol marker just to give a drop shadow, and that helps push it out from the background a little bit. You can see sort of the difference by having that shadow. Because I'm using the alcohol marker, it's also translucent, so I can still see the colour through it. It's just giving a true shadow to the letters. It makes them look like they're floating over the background. So once I've done that, then I'm going to go in with a white pen just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Probably not necessary on the chrome lettering to begin with, because it is quite bright in itself. But when you do a close-up, you do see it. So it's just something to think about. Certainly when I'm using sort of black on my page, I always give it a white highlight. So here's a close-up of the background. You can see it's very soft, very muted. Could be great backgrounds for ACTs or something like that. And here's a close-up of the finished page with my interesting hair and eye colour. But you can see the layering, you can see how that ink's been painted on the face and how it all ties together. So I hope you have fun. It's a nice bright rainbow page, and rainbows make me happy. So that's it. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye for now.